Hi, my name is Jeff Jr. and I'm with Trajan Wealth. And many of you know that March is Women's History Month. So I'm actually standing here with Miss Marti Bryant, who is not only one of our fiduciary advisors, a very good fiduciary advisor at that, but Miss Marti Bryant also has what's called a CDFA, which is a designation that stands for Certified Divorce Financial Analyst.
The CDFA designation, I utilize it when people are divorcing. Attorneys are not generally the person that you go to for financial advice, and they're the ones that you do want to go to when you're divorcing. Where I come into play is I sit down, do the analysis on all of your finances. Sometimes I've found hidden accounts. We talk about making a financially equitable dissolution of the marriages. Sometimes in dealing with women, I know most of the time women get in their head that I want the house. I want to have the house because that really is our safety net. Most of the time, we're the ones who are the primary caregivers or raising our kids. We're creating all of our memories in the house. And the thought of not only getting a divorce is horrible, but to top it off, the thought of actually losing your largest security blanket can be almost unbearable. And I found most times when we do sit down and go through the divorce process, the discovery, the financial process especially, there are a lot of times that it's not really equitable or worth keeping the home because it can potentially become unaffordable at some point in time. It generally comes down to, we have the running joke. The person who first balanced the checkbook in the relationship is the one who took over the finances.
Yep. Isn't that so true?
And it really is true. So a lot of times if the husband is the primary breadwinner, the wife stays home, or she does work, takes care of the kids. Generally, I have found that it is the husband that controls the purse strings most of the time.
Can you speak to us a little bit about the experience that you've seen in working with a female compared to a male?
Yeah, men and women think completely differently, whether it's about risk or about life in general, what their idea of retirement looks like. And even through the thought process, they can have the ultimate goal, the same goal in mind, but just the thought processes that we go through are completely different.
Right.
And what I mean by that is risk, especially in finance. We generally think of risk as being an aggressive portfolio, or we want to make a whole lot of money in a short period of time. But that's not the only way that we can assess risk. A risk can also come into play with, are you too conservative in your portfolio? Are you too diversified? Are you not diversified enough? So risk really is kind of a subjective idea. One of my fun things is when I sit down in my initial conversations with a couple, at one point I do talk about risk. And I sit back and I kind of outline, the conservative, the 5 different categories of risk that we generally see. And I sit back and watch the reactions of the husband and wife when I say, and how do you feel about risk?
Right.
They generally look at each other and smirk. And one says, well, you know how I feel. I want to know how you feel. Internally, as a woman, it's hard. It's really hard to go through because of the unknowns.
Right.
And most women, we like to know. That's how we think. We want to know. We're planners. We have to know what the future holds. Where are we going to go? Where's our money going to end up? Is mom going to move in? And that's probably all within less than a 10-second time span.
Right. The nester.
Of some of the stuff that goes through our head.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Being skeptical carries over in most aspects of our lives. And that comes from being a caregiver. Most of the time, it comes from being a caregiver. And the world of finance is daunting. And I have found over the years, being a female in a male-dominated industry, that the male advisor sometimes speaks differently to the wife or a female who comes into the room. And that could be detrimental, because we could feel like we aren't getting the respect that we deserve, or we're afraid to ask the questions that we need answered for fear of sounding like we don't know what we're talking about, or feeling like we might get brushed under the rug because, let the guys handle this. It's very important to sit down and find somebody that you can trust. And don't be afraid of doing that. Interview a whole bunch of people. You interview babysitters, you interview colleges, you interview your entire life, you interview your friends. And sometimes friends go stale and sometimes advisors go stale. Maybe your goals don't align any longer. So sitting down with somebody should not be daunting. It should be exciting, because what you're doing is you're interviewing someone that you want to hire. I interview for a job every single time I sit down with a new prospect. And my goal is to really earn your business. Anyone can manage your money. Anyone can manage your money. But not anyone can connect with you on a level that you need to be connected with. And communication is key. But you need to establish that relationship up front and ask the questions. There's no dumb question, especially when it comes to your finances.
I do encourage you to sit down with numerous financial advisors, in our case, a fiduciary advisor, that understand, let them get to know your situation and understand you and what you're looking for, and then make a decision from there. We have hearts of teachers and we're happy to help.